What is up, folks? This is Andrew with MyWatchAddiction.com, and today we're going to take a sneak peek at an Aquacy Diver, a watch that is currently right in the middle of a Kickstarter campaign. Now, I actually had the unbelievable opportunity to take a look at this watch prior to the campaign completion, so I'm really excited to tear into this watch with you guys and see what it's all about. Now, as I mentioned, I am a current backer of this project. Down in the description section below, if you guys are curious, I have a link to my Kickstarter profile, so you guys can always see at any time what watches I'm backing, what watches I'm not backing, that type of thing. But this Aquacy Diver is definitely one that I like the looks of, I like the specs on, so I went ahead and backed this guy. Lo and behold, I've had the opportunity now to take a look at it with you guys on the channel prior to it even completing, so I'm super stoked about that. Now, before we get started though, guys, if you have not seen my videos before, down there in the right-hand corner of the screen is that subscribe button. Go ahead and smash that, guys, so you can follow us in the future. Now, let's tear into this Aquacy Diver and see what it's all about. Very common to other microbrand divers that are available. The Aquacy 300mm diver does come in a ABS plastic dive case. If we open this guy up, inside we've got a whole bunch of different goodies. So we'll get to the watch itself here in just a second, but if we go through this guy real quick, comes with silicone straps in addition to the stainless steel bracelet that is on the watch currently. It does come with Aquacy silicone straps with the logo right there in the strap. If you can see it, might be a little bit dark with the black on black. Comes with a few different tools, one of which is a pin remover for the strap, for a strap changing tool. Comes with the additional blades right there in the handle. Then you also see the pins right there for use with that silicone strap. Incidentally, I didn't point out the buckle on the silicone strap is pretty nice, has a high polish, has the Aquacy logo right there in the upper left-hand corner of that buckle. Additionally, the silicone in this, it feels nice and supple. It doesn't feel plasticky or hard, very rubbery, nice feel to that silicone strap. Also, it comes with a screwdriver, and we will show you here in a minute why it comes with a screwdriver. We have the Aquacy warranty card right there. We have the Aquacy microfiber polishing cloth, and then finally the manual, which I'm not going to pull out because it's kind of a pain in the butt to get back in. So that is what comes with the watch itself, and I've been told this is what all of the backers will be receiving as well. If we pull this guy out and actually take a look at it, you can see right off the bat that deep blue dial. Almost a sunburst effect to that dial is one thing that caught my attention on this specific model of this Aquacy 300 meter diver. So if we zoom in on this Aquacy Diver, one of the things that kind of caught my attention that I thought was pretty sharp is those applied indices and those second, minute, and hour hands. I think it's just a sharp design. Very good looking. Now, incidentally, those minute, second, hands and indices do have BWG9 lume on them, and this ceramic bezel on this diver is lumed as well with that same BWG9 lume. If you guys are curious about the size of this diver, this 41 millimeters in diameter excluding the crown, with a 12.5 millimeter case thickness. And while we have this watch on the side, you can see it does have a helium escape valve right there in the side of the watch. One thing you'll notice, in addition to that Aquacy logo at that 12 o'clock position, is that number 1769. Now that 1769 signifies the number of watches that Aquacy is going to release in this run. So each watch will be serialized one of that 1769. If you look there, you also get kind of a good shot of the depth of that dial, and I think that just adds to the look of this watch. One thing that I kind of appreciate about it. That crystal that this guy is rocking is an AR coated sapphire crystal. That guy's about 2.5 millimeters thick. If we flip this watch over and see, we do have a closed case back with a relief design, that screw down case back. And that's the Aquacy logo right there on the back as well. Now, in this watch, this is an automatic watch. This watch comes in two different flavors. Now, the flavor of this watch is a Miyota 9015 automatic movement. That Miyota 9015 automatic movement we've talked about a bunch of different times. Really, really popular with microbrands, microbrand watch companies. It's a solid movement, not overly expensive, but just a real workhorse of the microbrand community. In addition to the Miyota 9015 movement, they have also released, if you want to upgrade on their Kickstarter campaign, they have also released a version with the ETA 2824-2 movement. The difference in cost is a little less than $100, about $90 difference in cost between the 9015 and the Swiss ETA 2824 movement for this Kickstarter campaign. Now, if we take a walk around this guy, solid links in this bracelet. Looks like a well put together bracelet, almost like a very fine brushed versus polish on this stainless steel bracelet. Fold over, double fold over, lock and clasp, and I can't get it in. There you go. Now we're in focus. Double fold over, lock and clasp on this bracelet with that Aquacy logo right there. This does have micro adjustments right in that clasp itself. Now, I mentioned earlier that this watch does include a screwdriver, and the reason it includes a screwdriver is to size this guy. This actually has screw-in pins instead of the standard split pin or push-out pins. These are screw-in pins, which should hold this bracelet together a little bit better. And the one thing I can see just by looking at it is these pins don't go all the way through, so it likely screws right into the link. Now, as I mentioned, this is the Aquacy 300-meter diver, and that is because this guy does have a 300-meter water resistance on this watch. One other thing to point out with this guy is that screw-down crown does have, I don't know if you can see it in there, it does have an extra gasket right there underneath that crown to help keep that watertight. If we jump over to their Kickstarter campaign, you can see I am a backer for this Aquacy 300-meter limited edition dive watch. Now, they've currently raised $41,000. They had a pledge goal of only $25,000. So this watch will be completed. This watch will go into production. Full production for all of the 127 backers so far. If we scroll down, one thing just point out, this is a first creation for Aquacy dive watches. This is their first Kickstarter campaign, so as always, I urge people to do their due diligence, but I can tell you guys, I've personally talked with Aquacy. I actually talked with Aquacy a little bit prior to backing this project, and that's why I had some faith in it. Not to mention the fact that I'm holding the watch in my hands. I see what it's going to look like. I know what it's going to feel like, and I know for $279 with that Miyota 9015 movement sapphire crystal, that's a hard price to beat. You can see right here, super early bird special, $279. Now, one other thing, just point out right here, as I mentioned, Swiss-made ETA 2824-2 movement, $364 for that Swiss ETA 2824. But guys, look at some of the color combinations on this watch. And see, that's with their mother of pearl dial, which looks really, really sharp to me. But they've got all sorts of color combinations, that bright red sunburst, black on black, with the stainless, and there is a shot of pretty much this watch with the silicone strap attached. So really, really sharp looking combination. Here's some close-ups of what I showed you when I opened this box, and then just a little bit more specs about it. This right here, though, is, I can never pronounce this word, so I'm not even going to butcher it. But this dial right here, I think is really, really cool looking in a diver. I don't see those in divers a whole lot. And then, of course, that mother of pearl, that blue sunburst, black, bright red, bright orange. They've got all the colors that you're going to want to hit. Yellow, all sorts of stuff. If you check out their Kickstarter campaign, definitely take some time to take a closer look at some of this, because I have just bounced over a lot of it, haven't really touched on any of the detail, but I urge you guys to. Matter of fact, down in the description section of this video below, I will post a link directly to this Kickstarter campaign for this Aquacy diver. Again, $279 for a Miyota 90-15 automatic movement with all of the extras that go along with it. Estimated delivery time is January 2018, just around the corner. There is still plenty of watches to snag up at that $279 price point, so guys, don't be shy. So that was the Aquacy 300 meter dive watch. Guys, I'm loving this blue with black bezel. That almost sunburst effect on that dial is absolutely gorgeous. And then the thickness, bracelet styling, bracelet weight, automatic Miyota 1915 movement, 90-15 movement, I apologize, 90-15 movement that is in this watch. I'm really digging it. And then with all the extras that come in with it, I'm really glad to be a backer of this watch, because unlike some of the Kickstarter watches that I have received in the past, I don't necessarily think at all that I am going to be disappointed with this campaign so far. The team over at Aquacy Watches has been very responsive to their backers, updating along the way and communicating with their backers. So I have a really positive feeling, and then after seeing this watch, my positive feeling is just amped up that much more. Now guys, $279, Miyota 90-15 movement with the specs, that helium release valve, that sapphire AR coated crystal, the ceramic bezel. Guys, you can't go wrong for $279. Anyway, guys, I'm not going to drag on too much longer, but if you guys are interested in the Aquacy limited edition 300 meter diver, sorry, not millimeter, 300 meter diver, down in the description section below, right below this video, is a link to this Kickstarter campaign, so you guys don't have to go and dig for it. Definitely check it out. And if you have any questions, go ahead and message the brand owner on it, and they'll be able to answer any questions that you may have. Personally, I'm really stoked to be getting this watch into my collection once this campaign is finished. And yeah, that's about it. I do not foresee this being a failed campaign at all, especially now that I've had the ability to take a look at one of these in my hand. Anyway, guys, if you want to see this watch on my wrist, or any other watch for that matter, don't forget you can follow us at Instagram /watchaddiction.us. Thank you guys, and have a great week.